Hello and welcome to the Good, Bad, or Bullshit podcast. My name is Bo Schwartz. That's Michael Hodgins. The other dude is Crofton Steers. Welcome to yet another debate where conversation is the foundation for our higher thought. I'm excited to be doing the show tonight. How's everyone?
4-day weekend. Woo!
Nice.
Not 4-day weekend for me. For the rest of my family, but I'll be working tomorrow like a chump.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Woo!
You know, I like Canadian Thanksgiving. I mean, it's like just the right time. The leaves are turning orange and yellow. It's beautiful here. The weather is like perfect. 18 degrees. I love it. I love fall.
Wow,
So
Canadian propaganda.
it's great.
So my daughter was like, I was like, so we're going up to Grant's for Thanksgiving. She's like, what's Thanksgiving? And then it occurred to me that I had never really sold Thanksgiving to her because really, why would kids give a shit? Generally, it's like, you know, candy on Halloween, present on Christmas, your birthday. Like, what is there? So I was like, yeah, Thanksgiving's kind of like, it's like Christmas. Like, we get together with family and we eat, but there are no presents or Santa or any decorations. So she's like, oh, that doesn't sound very good. I was like, yeah, I guess, whatever.
You know what I like about this obviously is gonna sound like me, but it's like the least commercialized of the like holidays. Like even like crappy ones like Valentine's Day, super like there's so much crap you gotta buy. I'm like Thanksgiving is like what really are you gonna do? You're just gonna go have a turkey with your family. Like I like that. I dig it. It's just like nice time of year, have a nice turkey. You guys do? Are your families like turkey style or is it more ham? Some people, it's the ham.
Used to be turkey style. Dad's side turkey. Other side, we're kind of loose. We kind of just have the modern, whatever's got vegetables and like I don't know what to expect when I go to Thanksgiving with my.
Oh, really? Hey, that's interesting. I know exactly what to expect when I go to Thanksgiving: turkey and mashed potatoes and carrots that are boiled, and there might be some like
stuffing.
Oh yeah, my mom makes pretty good stuffing, I must say,
Yeah,
and the cranberry
good.
sauce. It's very like standard. And if it's not my dad,
yeah, like you could almost buy like a survival kit that would contain all the, if you're just like emergency Thanksgiving dinner, it's like literally
yeah.
Canadians know it by like freaking heart. Like I've never met somebody who doesn't know the emergency kit for Thanksgiving dinner.
You know what the shittiest thing is? Like the one that you eat and you're like, oh, I know this is probably the thing that's best for me, but for me it's the shittiest. It's like the carrots and the beets will be like done. How are they done? Like in Thanksgiving, they're always in like a glass container, and it's all like carrots and not beets, but like turnips or whatever. I don't know. They're sliced the Thanksgiving veg special. Everybody knows what it is. Come on.
I mean, we eat carrots and there's often turnip. I know what you mean.
Yeah, there you go.
But together,
like
slice.
Yeah, well, like they're like they're steamed or something, glazed. I don't know what the hell.
Steamed. I don't know.
You're like, oh, I gotta put the veggies.
I know you eat that stuff, and you're just like, yeah, whatever. Give me some turkey already. I want gravy.
Yeah, turkey. I gotta put it on my plate to balance out.
Yeah, no, and that's
but nobody gives a shit about that stuff.
Not really. I like a nice bun. When I was a kid, I remember it'd be like, oh, Thanksgiving, and I would eat literally mashed potatoes, just the mashed potatoes, white turkey with nothing on it, and a bun.
You're describing what people actually want. Like it's like all that other shit we eat because we're adults, but we're like, what do we really want? The white meat, mashed potatoes, and the bread. That's it, and some bread and something to drink.
Bread is good. I like bread.
It's funny too because like Thanksgiving in the States is so far away. Like it's like at the end of November or some shit.
It's almost
like,
at Christmas.
By the time it gets there, and then they're all like, all talking about Thanksgiving in the States, and I'm like, God, man, that was like forever ago. Yeah. It's just such a weird like we're so aligned for all the other holidays.
Doesn't it kind of suck for them to have, because the Thanksgiving survival kit is pretty much the same as for Christmas, right? You just there's more chocolate
it's
around.
turkey.
It's
Like
like
turkey again.
stuff. It's just
Yeah,
like, oh
that's,
god, we
yeah.
just had this like a month ago.
That's what I would think. I mean, I assume it's related to things like the harvest, and in Canada, it's kind of like, okay, this is the kind of time like it's wrapping up, right? I mean, the leaves are falling off the trees, getting cold. But I guess if you go down south a bit, you're like, no, we're good for like another month. We're bringing stuff in. So I assume it's just related to that. Because when it's like American Thanksgiving here, and it's like the wind is blowing, snow is starting to come down, it's ice. I'm like, it does not feel like it to me. It feels like we're getting into Christmas, but it's one of the differences between our two great nations.
Two
All right.
great nations.
Speaking of differences between great nations,
Hey,
we should.
that's my segue to make.
Oh,
I was just
don't
kidding.
even
You
know
go
where I was going.
ahead. Speaking of two great nations, why don't we? I don't know what we're gonna do.
I was gonna say. I was going to seg into the fact, because this is still a new thing where one of us chooses the topic. Like, we've only had one round of it. So it's going to be like the old way we did it was like Canadian Thanksgiving. And this is like the new American Thanksgiving.
But before you do, there's one thing we forgot. Happy birthday to Bo. He's 40 years old.
Oh, 40.
I'm 1 day into the 40s, Mike. You've got 6 days on me.
I just turned 40 as well. Yes.
Yeah. Happy
The
birthday
40.
to you too.
And yes, and to you. Bo and I are like 6 days apart in age.
Congratulations,
79, baby.
Man, day
Both
one
40.
already off to a bad start. I was cantankerous about China. I had a headache in the morning. I had a neck pain this evening,
no.
and I'm like, going out for my little exercise around the block. I'm just like, I'm hitting 40s in full stride.
I'm sorry
And
to
you
hear
know-
that, Bo.
What's so great is that by the time this episode is published, I'll also be 40.
Oh, come on, man. We've had it. I know I have a bad reputation, but come on. We're going to get this out quick.
I'm teasing.
We had 2 releases back to back. We had Outrage Culture, and then the week prior, which was the one that. What did we do the week prior?
Bird watching?
No, the one after that.
Cyberpunk.
That's it. We did Cyberpunk. We did
Yeah.
Outrage Culture. 2 dropping back to back. I'm hoping to keep up that. Maybe not by next week, because this is supposed to be bi-weekly. And I'm just not adhering to any schedule, but it'll still be out quick.
That's all right. Maybe that's what your 40s are going to be like. Just, whenever it happens, it happens. Just try to stay on the track.
Just try and stay on the track. That's my stand. Keep
Just
the
try to
car on the
stay out.
road.
Try to stay out of the ditch, and, when you get there, and you get there.
Yeah.
That's not a bad attitude to have.
All right. Well, on Crofton's sort of, piggybacking on what he had to say is that you're picking the topic today, Mike.
That's true. Speaking of Bo being cantankerous, hopefully
So let's have your topic delivered by the bird.
Okay.
So
Still not quite sure what I'm going to bring up here.
So there it goes. The bird is flying in.
It's a bluebird warbler.
Bluebird Award.
I mean, that makes the bird extra special now that we've done a full episode on it and learned a lot about birds.
I'm calling
learn
back
that
to the last time Mike selected a topic.
I would be up for a sequel to that, by the way. I enjoyed that episode quite a bit.
Bird
watching
eating.
too.
Bird eating. Well, we just talked
do eat
about
a lot.
turkey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. The topic that I'm going to put forward today is luxury.
Luxury. Okay.
That-
Luxury.
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 You guys know what luxury is?
Trump Towers on every
Oh, yeah.
continent.
A gold toilet.
Golden. Trump Tower right in the smack middle of Greenland.
Donald Trump knows what luxury is. He's all about
yeah.
What thread counts are your sheets?
what thread. Yeah. What brand is your car?
Yeah.
Who are you wearing today? It's funny when you're like a celebrity and you go on the red carpet and they say like, "Oh, who are you wearing?" Nobody ever asks me who I'm wearing because it's fuck nobody.
Well, aren't you wearing Value
random-
Village? You're wearing what is it, Saint Vincent de Paul?
I have this one sweater that I still wear occasionally. Like, keep in mind I'm 40, and every time I look up, I'll bring it out now and then, and then I'll occasionally tell Andrea this. She's heard, even though she's heard it a million times. Like, Andrea, I found this sweater in my high school when I was working one evening as a replacement janitor. And so like I was cleaning the thing and there was just like this sweater and I was like, oh, this is kind of a nice sweater. I took it. I was like 16. I still wear that thing. It's not that nice, but I'm like, it's not falling apart yet. So I'm like, well,
Might come back in style.
no, it's very generic.
So the thing is the examples you gave of luxury are things like that. Some of it because there's the appearance of luxury, like what brand of car do you drive? The brand isn't necessarily like there's brands that are associated with luxury, but
Lots of brands.
luxury should be like technically what it is something that is considered luxurious. Like for example, I use the example of the thread count in sheets, like higher thread counts considered sort of more luxurious, feels more, softer and stuff like that. Like if you have a hot tub on the roof in your hotel suite, well, that's like, to me, that's when I think of like, oh, luxury.
But yeah, I mean, that's in the same vein. I mean, like, as I was thinking, yeah, like you go on like a luxury resort vacation spot or a luxury hotel or a luxurious restaurant, super high end fine dining. These things are all part of luxury, or it's like a Rolex watch. It can be brands, it can be experience.
Yeah.
Going to the spa.
I guess
it's experience and it's stuff. Luxury encompasses all this.
See, my problem is that, or problem, whatever, is like stuff like Rolex. This is luxury because it's a brand identified with luxury. That's the stuff I don't like as much. Just in the same way, like we've talked about how Tim Hortons has identified itself with Canadiana, right? Like it's like now some brands are like this brand means luxury, but like I like luxury in terms of like, oh, it's like we're gonna treat ourselves once in a while. Like last year it was my wife's 40th birthday, and I took her to like we went to a fancy hotel and got a nice suite and all that sort of stuff, and I got her like a luxurious spa treatment. I think it was literally called luxurious spa treatment. And so all of that stuff. So I really do like that element of luxury and stuff, but then I don't like when Mike, when you're saying like, oh, this brand is in, and you're right, absolutely, those brands are associated with luxury, but that stuff doesn't like I feel negative about that stuff.
Well, but I think that's the neat or interesting thing about a topic like this, because I think everyone likes to taste luxury now and then, but some people are swimming in it, right? Like, and it's just everything. It's like Donald Trump, like that is a man. It's luxury is how he wakes up in the morning, right? Or like, there apparently is a golden toilet in his suite in Trump Tower. A golden toilet.
He supposedly moved into the White House and literally thought it was a dump. Like which is like this place, the most historically relevant building in American history, and he's like, yeah, it ain't my golden penthouse,
Yeah, and so I mean, like I guess it's how you view. It's like when I think of luxury, I think like. Like everyone wants to be like, I don't know, pampered or feel something special, or like part of what it seems to me about what luxury is, because I'm, I guess, not a really rich person, is something that you experience seldom. Like when I was on my honeymoon, for example, we did a month in Indonesia, and we were pretty much like backpacking. So we're staying at like pretty low end hotels, but we spent 2 nights at a like luxury, I would call, for Indonesia, because it wasn't that expensive compared to say here, place, and it was really, really nice. These beautiful linens on the sheet, people put flowers on your bed. It was really cool. And so yeah, as a counter to the stuff you normally live, and like taking giving Jesse that spa treatment, it's this kind of thing that you seldom experience, and so therefore it's this like lovely treat, but and so like I'm not like you, I'm not opposed to that. I think everyone likes that, but it's there are lifestyles, and I think of like rich people or celebrities where it's like everything they do is luxury, and it just seems to me like gluttony.
But what about items? Like, so, you talk about, say, a luxurious car or a luxurious thing. Like, for instance, I'm on the computer a lot or whatever. I play a lot of computer games, and say I bought myself like a really like high-end monitor that kind of curves around and is super luxurious or whatever. When I
Like
could
your
just
TV.
yeah, like my TV, right? So it's like it's not an occasional thing. I use it all the time. It's in my house. It's like a piece of luxury that's always there. Like what's that's that because I get the whole like, oh, you treat yourself now and again, but like when you treat yourself now and again to an item, well, that item sticks around.
Well, I mean,
right?
there's the middle class luxuries that keep us, as our opiate that keep us feeling okay, and then there's capital L luxury that we have never experienced.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a distinction. We're talking like leisure class and economics and stuff like that. Like, is the focus, Mike, do you think, on your topic like luxury in all of its many forms, or are we talking like capital L luxury?
I think I'm talking real luxury, and I think that even our examples, like someone who's really rich, would just scoff at like, "Oh, you went to the fucking spa, you chump,"
Yeah.
and it's like, I mean,
Do
luxury.
you
is
change your
taking-
own kids' diapers?
Yeah. Well,
Why don't you have a maid, you broke chump? Or
pretty, yeah. I mean, pretty much, or it's like going on like because I cannot imagine and you like it getting on an airplane and being and paying for a first class ticket. First class ticket. When you look, I've looked at the prices. It seems insane. Like I would never like to pay that much extra money for something that takes a few hours. Like that's luxury to be like I can afford $3,000 extra.
oh my god, though, honestly,
to
Mike,
be-
like those luxury
look.
seats, I get every time I get on a plane. Like, I'm a bigger lad. I'm like, those
I know.
seats would seat me comfortably. Like,
So would you
I
pay?
can't. I scrape together to go to on the trips I do. Like,
yeah, I
I
know. So
can't.
you-
It's denied financially to be.
So look,
you know,
I think that's what actual true luxury probably is. Because like I mean, you might say like true luxury is buying like, Crofton has a nice TV. That's not actually a nice TV. It's a high end
Hey,
TV.
shut your hole.
Look, because well, I mean, you were telling me when you were TV shopping, you paid a few grand for that TV. It's a sweet TV. But there's ones that are 20 grand, right?
Yeah,
You weren't buying the
that-
fucking
absolutely.
20 grand one.
No.
And it's like a watch. Like I remember my brother-in-law when they got married, his wife got him a $4,000 watch, and I
oh
remember
my
thinking,
god.
no, but here's the thing: is that again, Donald Trump probably shits on your $4,000 watch because there are $50,000 watches, right?
Watches are an obscene industry for high-end
And it's like
luxury.
you don't even need it. it's an arcane technology. Like you need a clock on your arm. Like you've got a high tech computer in your
Well,
pocket.
it's like art. Like, why is art cost so much? It's just a bunch of fucking oil on canvas. Like,
I mean, and there's another. It's just like so like luxury. I think true luxury is not actually accessible to most people. And maybe it is in little dribs and drabs. You can now and then stay in a really fancy hotel room, and I tend to think like when I expose myself to it, it would be in the form of experiences. Like I have been to a high end restaurant where it's like your meal costs $400-$500 for two people.
You've
like
done
I've done
that?
that before. Yeah, I have, and
For
it is
two
an interesting
people?
experience.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
I think I have too. It's just
Wow.
if
I've never
you
had
drink,
that.
it adds up.
Yeah. If there's a few drinks, it really adds up, and you gotta want, and I've done that once or twice. I'll clearly not make a habit of it.
All
but it's like-
prices in Canadian dollars.
Oh, so it's like
I-
$5,000 American.
No, it's not.
Or no, it's worse the other way.
It's like $30. But
It's like 30. That's even worse. It's like
No,
McDonald's. They paid $400 for this McDonald's.
So yeah, I mean, like it's like at best you get a little taste of it. Like I mean, and fine dining is something you can get is relatively accessible compared to even staying at a hotel. There are hotels that are like $3,000 a night. People don't pay that for rent for a month. You know what I mean? But some people will pay that a night for a place. So like that's really what luxury is, which just seems like when you hear. I was also going to say the word opulence, like
Yeah.
where it's
I
just.
think that's what luxury is to you.
Well, what do you think it is?
Well, I think that like I think that there's levels of luxury that's based on the perception of the person, and there's some brands that have tied themselves into luxury. But for you, as somebody like me who is fairly wealthy, middle class, then it's like the idea of luxury is almost something that's unattainable luxury, right? Like her
Well, I use the word
for us.
opulence, right? Like,
Opulence,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah, like that higher level of like, but I think like luxury is like you can have something that is luxurious,
Decadence.
yeah, to a certain extent, and it still be within reach, I guess, right? Like, and that's and it is tough to draw the line because again, going back to my monitor example, like Bo, for instance, is a guy who uses a computer a lot, is at his
Mhm.
desk a lot, could like, but has yet like when was the last time you replaced your screen, like your monitor?
Uh, it was recently, but it was at my old place, so 2 to 3
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, and it's probably like
And
I mean it,
I got a funny story about that too. Just a quick aside. I don't want to derail it, but it
sure,
actually is
yeah, yeah,
hilarious. My monitor broke, so I had to buy one. I couldn't fix it. It wasn't wiring. The plugs weren't working, so I got to go to Best Buy. I got to get one. My budget's like $200. I find a sweet. It's like 30-inch or 29-inch monitor. It's a huge monitor I have. $200. Really? High-end LG monitor. I go to buy it, and the guy's like, "Yo, we mislabeled this. It's actually like a $400, $500 monitor. It's an extravagant, luxurious monitor." He's like, "But we labeled it the wrong price, so we have to give it to you and fix the price." So I got it for the under. I got the luxury thing for under two. It was like 220 or something like that for my budget range. And this was the best part. I'm busing. So I get on the bus with my $500 luxurious thing, and if there aren't two fucking nerds, and keep in mind I'm a nerd, but there's two of these like 40-year-old type nerds, and they keep going like this over at me, and they keep looking at my monitor box, and then at one point they're like, "Yo, that's a sweet monitor, man." Like, it's in a box, they can't even see it. They just know it's like an LG, blah 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 blah. They're like salivating like hyenas over the freaking box. I'm like, I feel like I'm about to get raped somewhere. Like, I'm just like, God, stop looking at my goddamn box. Like, it's insane. And like, I was half worried they were gonna follow me home. I was like
Bo pulls a knife on these two like piddly
Like,
nerds.
'cause
Like, stay away from my
they're
monitor.
not nerds. They're like 40-something people. They looked a little sketch, I should say. Like, they're that type where they're like, they're into computers and maybe hacking and incel shit. I don't know. They were like they were a little bit my kind and a little bit scary, if that kind of resonates with you at all.
Yeah.
And they kept
It does.
they kept looking at my freaking box for a 30-minute fucking bus ride. And all that to say is that, that's my funny story about the monitor. I was scared for like hours after that bus ride. I was like, "Oh, if they don't break into my house and steal my luxurious monitor, I have no business having."
I tell Gwen on the bus, I'm like, be careful of people that look a little bit sketchy. And she's like, what do you mean a little bit sketchy? And I said, like Uncle Bo. And she's like, oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But your point, I did find it again interesting because you're like, oh this $500 monitor is luxurious monitor, and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking like, because I'm not due for a new monitor, but I could get a new one, and I wouldn't even look under $500. I'd be like, oh, okay, let's see some of these. Get me some of this luxury monitors, like, and to a certain extent. But then it's like, how much of it is luxury and how much of it is my, is just my standard of where I'm at. And like, to Mike's point, when he's talking about luxury being like, flying first class while wearing a gold watch, like, is that just, are there levels in there? Because I agree with Mike. I'm also more prone to like treat myself to an experience, but maybe there's a bunch of stuff that I take for granted that I buy myself or whatever. Yeah. I don't that would be considered luxuries.
Yeah, probably. But I think of it. To me, this probably, I think, encapsulates a bit what luxury is, and applies to the examples you guys have given as well. It's like where there is a thing that exists that meets all the needs of what you want, and whether it be a monitor, or a car or a house or a hotel room that's comfortable, that serves its purpose well, you're not going to feel put out or anything. You'd be totally satisfied with the thing. But then there's another one,
Let's call
which
it
is
a
like
mic.
which is like twice as expensive. It's just overflowing with extra of itself for no real reason other than that it is, right? Or that it's like I mean, a car is a good example. Like you can buy a Honda or like I don't know what's a sort of run of the mill like some Ford, hatchback. It'll get you where you want to go. It'll keep you warm in the winter. It's going to be a relatively comfortable seat. Your passenger can be safe in it. It's a car. It'll do everything it needs to do. Or you can buy a Jaguar, which is a car. It'll heat you, keep you warm in the winter. It'll carry your passengers, but it costs 10 times as much. And you're like, is it 10 times better at doing what it's supposed to do? Like, no, it is. It's clearly not. Same with a watch. If you go to like, I was going to say Zellers, but that doesn't exist anymore.
No, they closed the last one this year.
Oh yeah, or you go to some random store, you can buy a watch, for $1.
Well,
Yeah, a few bucks, whatever, and it will tell the time. Like it will do the thing you need it to do, and then you can buy another watch that has gold and diamonds in it that also says it's 10 o'clock. So I guess it's like where something exists that totally meets the need and the function and the thing you required. But is just that with opulence, and that to me, I think was what luxury is.
And I like just pivoting the conversation a little bit into away from what it is and how we feel about it. I like having the luxury items or experiences and all that. Personally, maybe I'd like to even have them more if I could afford it than I do. I don't know. I don't give it a ton of thought unless I want something in particular, an item of some sort. Then I will think about, okay, what's the best one that I can get for the money that I have and all that sort of stuff. But I do want to treat myself to a certain extent. But then like the culture of luxury that's created, and Bo, I think we did a topic ages ago, the disposable culture, right? On this show. And this is 100% linked into this because like nothing says luxury more than disposable. Like the idea that you can just, replace it with something else. And I'll give you an example. The first line of Apple watches. So Apple released their watch and you had different models you could get. And there was a limited edition Apple Watch that the back of the watch, it was the same Apple Watch as all the other ones, but the back of it was gold. Was all gold, and like I think Kanye got one or something, and then it had a watch strap that had like diamonds and stuff, and it was super expensive. Now, and while the watch strap could be moved to another edition of the watch, the gold was on the back of the thing. It was like, it's a set Apple Watch, and I remember like the moment it was announced, and they were like, "There's a limited edition, and they've all been sold out already, and these celebrities are buying them." I'm like, that watch is it's not like a Rolex or some of these timeless watches where it's like you wear it year in, year out. It's a watch it's an iPhone. It's next year there will be another one, and it will be called the iWatch 2, and your gold-plated iWatch, which is a symbol of luxury, will be completely outdated. And it's not like the people buying it didn't know that. They totally knew that. They knew they were buying this thing, and that next year they'd be like, fuck this gold-plated watch, I'm getting another one, And I remember thinking like that is like that. It was luxury. It was like disposable luxury that revolted me, that I could understand because I understand that world, right? And I was just like, oh God. And that sort of stuff just turns my stomach.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree totally with that. Like, I think it's like what it is excess, and I think excess always annoys me. Like it's extra when you don't need extra. It's gluttony. Like it's like the hotel room example. You can get a nice hotel room. It's got bed in. It's comfortable. TV. Might even have a little couch you can sit in. great comfortable mattress. But you can get the same another hotel room that has like 4 rooms in it and like designer furniture, and it's for no purpose other than to be, I don't know what it is, but it's just wasteful. It just seems like it's wasteful and it's excessive, and it's, to me, it's gluttony incarnate. We think of gluttony as just a food thing, but it's
gluttony
everything.
incarnate. I played on that difficulty mode in Doom.
Yeah, right. The plains of gluttony.
So done. Like the one thing that you're not missing out on it, because I think you're hitting it on, but like the point is for the I don't know. I kind of thumbed through. I can't say I fully read it, but there's a sort of older sort of economics book called The Theory of the Leisure Class. And I really can't parrot much out of it other than my understanding of the book, explaining that all societies have a band of people to where waste and excess is the point of that leisure class. That leisure class manifests itself in all forms, and that opulence, that luxury, that fantasy is present in civilization as far back as we can track. And like, it's this sort of, there's a symbolism where the meanings and the specific meanings and the context shifts, but there's essentially that manifests itself in human civilizations all throughout the ages, that there is a class that can throw out in a day what you earn in a year, and that do so with great pride and purpose of nation and spirit, of religion, because they can, because God said it, because the society bolsters this kind of ideology. Like, it's ever present. But don't we hate it? Don't we? Like, Mike clearly hates it, but I mean, don't we all on some level resent it?
I mean, resent or aspire to it. Those are the two levels, right?
Right.
There's people that resent it. And like, I give like Mike, we know where he fits in, obviously, like he's being clear. But one thing I'd say about you, Bo, that I've always found interesting is like, while you are pursuing of like free time, sleep, like you'll do what you want kind of when you feel like it to a certain point. You don't necessarily pursue luxury, or like you don't need to have the newest thing. You don't need to have like we've talked at length about how you've kept the same computer going forever, like, and yet you use it, all the time.
I'm not a keep up with the Joneses kind of person, but I'm not immune to those feelings.
No, and I'm not saying you are, and
I
don't think anybody is, but I'm just saying, like, you're not somebody that necessarily pursues luxury, but there are, I see people at my work that are like, there's always that level of resentment that's always tied in there, because either somebody has something more than you, or like that you're desperate for, right? And I think that like, I know there's folks at my work that, I got to, that Mike can relate to this, a new BMW, and they're talking
you bond over talking shit about someone's luxury. Like, can you believe what X person bought? How can they afford? Ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think your description pulled from that book about like sort of the these uber rich, because like I just read an article recently about these. I'm not sure, you guys have probably heard of them. These super yachts that the
is that really a super yacht is a thing?
Yeah. So essentially, a super yacht is like, not only is it ridiculously expensive, but like you need a staff, a crew to man it. That pretty much each year costs like something like a third of what they.
But it's just for you. It's just for you.
It's a massive, like, it's got helicopter pads, you name it, whatever. And there's all this community essentially of people that have these, super yachts in the Mediterranean or whatever. And like they're be it celebrities or just rich folks or whatever.
I guess they rent them out to action movies, because villains are often found on super yachts.
Yes, yeah, like, but they're just like, to me, it's a tangible symbol of like, I'm like, oh wow, like if you tell me, Crofton, would you like to go on a super yacht? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Like, oh wow, it sounds appealing. Like you think about
do the laws of man apply out in the sea?
Yeah. Can I set up an illegal Oh, actually, it'd be legal. There are no laws on the sea.
It'd be more like
card
they take you
table.
out there and be like, and now, sir, the hunt begins.
Sound like what?
The hunt of man. Ha ha ha. Good luck. And then off you go, and they try to kill you in the yacht.
I'm like, but that's my friend Bo. I don't want to shoot him, But no, I super yachts are just something that I like. When I see, I associate with this like cabal of uber rich, and I think luxury is like when you hear it, there's how we open, there's the occasional luxury, there's the sampling, there's the like treat yourself type luxury every once in a while, and then there's the unhealthy pursuit of obscene riches and luxury used as a symbol to tell people like how important you are. Like you hear these pyramid schemers or these people that end up broke, but yet they surrounded themselves with all this opulence and luxury, and they're like, I can't believe he had no money.
They call that, what do they call, conspicuous consumption?
Yeah.
There's a term for that phenomenon where, well, let's say I make $100,000 a year, my wife and I, and all of it gets spent on outward appearances. We are hawking credit. We have a house, we have kids, we have, who am I wearing? I'm wearing Vera Wang today. Or I'm wearing Giorgio Armani, I suppose. And look at these shoes. These are the latest shoes I bought this week. I buy new shoes every week, and got to keep up. And that, like, all of my consumption is conspicuous in that it serves some sort of symbolic cultural purpose to outwardly show that I am experiencing the best that luxury has to offer. Meanwhile, I'm bankrupting myself.
Well, but I mean, that's a real part of all of
happens.
this, which is, because people are trying, because like, I mean, part of what this is we've touched on this in various other things. We've talked about fashion or dress codes and things. A lot of this is signaling. When you consume or purchase something, you're displaying something about yourself externally. Like, so if you're wearing a tailored Armani suit and a Rolex watch, and you're driving a Jaguar or something like that, that is, and you get out of that car in a certain part of town and going into a restaurant that not everyone can even get reservations at, you are signaling to everyone to see you that you belong to a certain class, a certain group, and they signal to each other, right? In the same way that it's like, if you're a gamer, you might wear a nerdy gaming shirt, and then the guy on the bus is like, look at his monitor.
Actually, I was gonna say, nowadays what it is you shop organic. You buy all your shit at Mountain Co-op equipment stores.
Part of it.
You have a economically minded but more expensive car. Again, along with everything's about the conspicuous consumption is, I am tolerant. I promote equality and good social mores. I promote
virtue signaling.
But it's still conspicuous consumption, because a lot of this stuff is very expensive, and you may not have the income to support it, but you're rationalizing it by the conspicuousness of your
I mean, it's totally true. Like, I mean, I always think of this as an example, because it's the same. It's like, think of punk. Like, if you're a punk person, you're gonna have like tattered, ripped, like jean jacket, you're spending money, and but what you're doing is signaling to other people in the punk scene, like, I'm punk, but that just didn't happen to you. You went out and you bought the right kind of clothes. But I mean, so this is the same with luxury, except that luxury is just like oozing with waste and excess,
wasted income that you are removing from your pocket, essentially.
I guess it's just like every human being is signaling something. We're all belong to some group. We all project something, and that's fine. That's part of being a human being. Like, who are you? What do I believe in? All this stuff. And that's fine. Like, that's just part of being a human being. But luxury and the signaling that goes along with that, like when you live a luxurious lifestyle, is just like spewing of waste and excess. It's just like,
because you can do all that by going to St. Vincent de Paul or whatever. What's the most going to a thrift shop, right? And spending.
But not.
You
but
can
I mean, like,
accomplish
not
such
that.
things.
I mean, and you can accomplish those things and live, well.
Frugally.
Like, if you're, but I mean, not even frugally. Like, even if you're like I feel like I have a pretty good job. I'm like, I can afford nice clothes from like the Banana Republic, but that's not. Is that like luxurious? Like, no, it's like middle class kind of clothes.
What does Banana Republic mean again?
What does it actually mean, or what does it, or it's the store?
Well, no, I know the store. What is? It's a term.
It's a
It's a descriptive political.
I actually know that
economic
a bit of the
term.
history of this has had to do with basically a banana selling cartel. I think it was from the United States, and these companies set up in some of these countries. I think Nicaragua, and there was a few other ones to sell bananas. But they were so powerful and controlled so much money that they essentially could dictate what the government could do to their benefit, and therefore you have a banana republic. So it's like it's a country, but the companies and you can Google it, and you'll find something
in
to
political
this extent.
science. The term banana republic describes a politically unstable country with an economy dependent upon the exportation of a limited resources products such as banana or minerals.
But more so than that, it's like you're like, I mean, there's a specific story about the origin of that term, and it's actually like a couple of banana companies that were essentially cartels in one of these countries and kind of just controlled them. Okay. Anyways, that's a side topic.
It's a side topic.
It's
a side topic, but always seemed like a problematic thing to call your.
A lot of luxury in the Banana Republic.
You know,
luxurious, snooty middle class.
I'm gonna start a clothing store called the Communist Puppet State Store. It's like, I don't know if this is the greatest term ever. Like,
yeah, no, it's not. But I mean, all to say is like you can do things like well and super comfortably. You know, you're not like slumming it. You're not sleeping in secondhand stores and be like totally, you know, fine within the society, but not even be engaging or even, you know, licking at the boots of what luxury is. And luxury is, I mean, we all want those little experiences, but I just think that actually the ones that we've described are probably not even that. They're like treats, you know. It's like you treat yourself to something nice. Like, you know, I've gone to we have this spa up in the hills near us called the Spa Nordique. It's very fancy and swanky. People go there, and you know, it's got these pools, these infinity pools. You look over the city. It's really gorgeous. You know, but it costs like $40 to get in there for the day. It's not actually like elite. It's not a private club. You know, you feel like you're spoiling and pampering yourself, and you are. It's a totally, it feels like a luxurious experience to me, but it's very accessible, you know? Whereas like a real one like that would be like, no, you're in the golf club where it's $100,000 membership to just get in, to go play golf. You know, like that's a real luxury. It's not like, I feel like we people who are in the middle class or lower have these like facsimiles of it, which are just like nice things that we treat ourselves to now and then, but I'm not even sure it qualifies as luxury. I mean, it's getting clear where I'm going on this topic, so I mean, I don't know how much more to say. Maybe we should get to
I'm good, clear, but yeah, I mean, I think so. I'm trying to think if I have any last little bits on the luxury front, but I don't. I'm just curious.
I do, but I'm saving it for verdict.
I'm just curious, like, just to take a little accounting, and maybe we've already answered it, and it just sort of fell out of my mind. But like, are there examples? Have we nailed down examples of our own personal luxuriousness where we extend too far? I know we talked a lot about me being frugal, but like, I consider I don't bring in lunch to work, guys. I tend to order from cafeteria and have my food made for me more so than I need to.
Really
I can be saving. It's not really a luxury, but having people.
You tell Donald Trump that they're like, "Oh, you bought your lunch at the cafeteria."
So,
like
let's say it's a.
Sorry,
let's say it's a very middle class luxury, but honestly, it would be very financially impactful for someone in my position to actually like go to the grocery store, prep lunches. I would notice a significant financial impact for me if I did that. So, so having people prepare food for you vis-a-vis doing it the old-fashioned way, where you know you make your own shit, like
that's not.
I know it doesn't track high, but it's impactful to my life, I guess, as well.
No, I know what you mean.
It's tough though, but like when Mike's like just dismissing it off of hand. Oh no, that's not luxury. Getting food at a restaurant or whatever. It's not luxury, even if it's at a daily basis. And it's the same thing where it's like, you know, if you get somebody to clean your house a couple of times a month or whatever, and it costs money, like you're getting somebody else to do something, and like it's making you know, is that a luxury? It's not a necessity.
Well, I guess the reason why I'm getting trumped up a little bit with it is because like I agree it doesn't scale. It doesn't even register on the scale that we've presented about luxury. But
because we're talking about luxury.
The language I would still use is that it is a luxury for me to do that.
But yeah, exactly. As opposed to a necessity, you could.
Yes.
Right.
But all I would say is like, look, like that's true all over the world. Like, I mean, you travel, like, I've traveled in some developing countries where people are poor, people are working, they buying lunch from someone who makes it for them on the street.
Those
it's good for them.
luxurious bastards.
How dare they? Why didn't they bring their own bag lunch from their shanty house? It's like that, like literally, because it's just like that's how society works. I mean, we divide labor. Some people cook food, they make a bit of money doing that. Some people do whatever else, and then they use some of the money to buy food. Like, I mean, that's just society. Like, we divvy things up. I mean, like, because I even felt like, so I've talked recently, I bought a brand new car recently, and to me that seems like spewing of luxury. I've never bought a new car in my life. I've only bought secondhand cars, or old beaters, and fixed them up or whatever. And and a new car, and not only a new car, an electric car. So it was more expensive than another new car. So this feels like luxurious to me, and I had troubles doing it. But obviously, anyone who listens to this show knows my principles and where I stand on this stuff. So I had to do it because you can't get a secondhand electric car, and I was tired of burning gasoline. But the thing is, it's a Hyundai. Like, I mean, no one is like, oh, look at that snub in his Hyundai. A Hyundai is just like, whereas like maybe if I'd bought a Tesla, or there are luxury.
But it's a high, like, for sure. As a brand, it's not associated with luxury, but it's a higher end of that brand.
But I mean, the thing is, like, the non-electric version of the same car I bought that's a Hyundai is not a high-end car. Like, it's an entry-level car. It's only because of the electric motor in it that it's expensive. Like, it's not, you can buy like like if you were to buy a BMW of the same style or type of the Hyundai, it's at least twice the price, probably triple. And a BMW is at this point, they've debased themselves by letting some of the upper middle class buy their products. Now it's like you got to buy a Jaguar or Maserati if you want people to know you're really,
And you heard it here, folks.
So that I mean, that's the funny thing, because for me that seems totally luxurious to buy a new thing, but there just wasn't another one available. And like, I don't know, like, so I feel like I do almost nothing that I consider luxurious, and when I do, I generally don't feel at ease with it. I feel like this is gluttonous. I'm consuming more than I need to consume. I don't feel great about it when I do it. So I'm like, it's rare that I can do something that's luxurious and just love it. I usually think like, this is wasteful. Like, I'm just being greedy is how I feel when I do those things. And I feel like I don't understand how celebrities can live the way they do and not be sickened with themselves. Like, I don't understand it. Like, how you could consume or like live on a super yacht and not just want to puke on yourself every day to be like, there's people fucking like starving, and you're like, yeah, I need a super yacht because the regular yacht was such a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I just can't, like, it's not like you can have a yacht. No, it must be a super yacht. So again, this is I feel like we need to get
symbolic. Yeah, I know you're gonna implode, but there is a symbolism associated with all of that, and if you believe you belong in that caste of people, then you believe it's necessary to be seen and to have and to expect these luxuries. All right, yeah, let's break into verdicts. I think we're ready. I guess no one had any answers for what they think is a luxury, and we've clearly decided none of us have luxuries.
Not really.
We don't qualify. Okay, all right.
I would, just before you pull it, I would say that the closest that would be that I live in what would be considered a luxurious area of the city.
No,
right?
you don't.
So,
it's Rockcliffe Park. You live in
Hey, don't tell people where they live.
No.
It's Rockcliffe Park.
Rockcliffe is the opulent area.
That's the luxurious neighborhood. You live in a hipster, gentrified neighborhood.
Yeah, no, I live in a luxurious neighborhood.
No.
Sorry. When the houses are like $1 million each next to you, I know there are more expensive houses, but to me, that's a rich person's neighborhood. That's a luxurious neighborhood.
I don't think it's luxury. What's the square footage of your house?
It's not about size; it's how you use it.
Oh, yes, it is.
All right, fine.
You're not going to impress any of your BMW friends with your 1,800 square foot house.
We're still talking about houses and not luxury cocks, right?
Oh God! Trust me, it's a fancy area.
Crofton wants to. You need to signal your cred better. You got to get a car. You're driving a Hyundai Crofton. I've seen it. I can't take you seriously. Your neighbors probably watch that Hyundai coming up, and they're like, God, how do we let people like this into this neighborhood?
So the guy who lived here in this house before me had a Jaguar. So I really debased the. I
You've
really
lowered the
debased
property value.
And
of the
not
neighborhood.
only that, I just want to point out, and I don't know if this comes with owning a Jaguar. I really don't. But he had a subscription to like Jaguar magazine, which still gets delivered occasionally to my house with his name on it. I've looked
It
at
also
it
comes
before.
along with Snooty Assholes Monthly, which is like his other magazine.
But yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Speaking of snooty assholes, verdict time. So shut up. All right, order in the court time, and because I'm hosting, I'm going to go first. Luxury, man, what a topic this is. I feel pretty thoroughly emasculated on this subject by Michael's stringent definitions, which I don't take issue with. That being said, this is going to have to be a verdict that I'm like still in progress on thinking about, because I do think it's sort of eternally present. I don't see a solution to it except the obvious, like, we should not have a luxury, everything should be equal in the universe. So I'm like, I don't know about that bit. So I can't fully say like, oh yeah, you know, this is just bad? Is it because I secretly resent and want, you know, these things for myself? I'm just gonna have to go with bullshit, you guys. I think it's bullshit. A lot of what Michael said and the things we're lampooning and ridiculing make a lot of sense to me. So I'm gonna give it a verdict of bullshit. And okay, and just there we're going to pause for a second because the whole show just got nuked. So I gave my verdict, and the call got disconnected. You're all back now. Everything's okay. You both sort of froze.
Okay, good. I thought I was the only one.
No, you both sort of left. I gave my verdict. It was bullshit. I didn't really have anything. You didn't miss anything about my response. It was just that I'm still in the process of deciding it, and I can't fully say it's bad because it's ever present, but I'm certainly resentful towards it. So,
Present, Bo, and clearly bad.
I mean, I should probably go towards bad. It was a bullshit side. It was a bad side of bullshit.
You've given your verdict.
Someone else's turn. Someone else's turn.
Mike, you should go just because it's so obvious.
So obvious. Like it's like it would be so obvious that I was of a certain class if I had a Rolex watch and a BMW. But yeah, so luxury is to me clearly bad. I think it's just a bad. It's just reveling in something that is completely and unnecessary. And I think it's like it'd be one thing if like it was everybody, you know, we were all in the same mega yachts and there was no problem. Like that's one thing, but that's clearly not the case. Like when you engage in luxury, and I know what Crofton and Bo are kind of getting at, that it's like, look, I live a good life. Like I really do. I'm a privileged person. Do not get me wrong. Like compared to people in the world, I have nothing to complain about. But I don't need a watch that costs $20,000. Nor do I need a car that costs 5 times as much as one that will do the job just as well. Nor do I need a house that's 5 times as big as the amount of rooms I can be in at a given time. Like, you know, that's what luxury is. When some people have nothing and you have everything you possibly need, and that's not good enough for you. What's good enough for you is having enough that would satiate 1,000 people. That's what luxury is. It's just gluttony. It's gluttony in all forms, you know. It's like, and I just find I don't understand how people can be so self-focused on just rewarding themselves. Like that's all the time, like when you live a luxurious lifestyle. And I think this is different from people who want to occasionally experience a nice thing, a fine dining, or go to a nice hotel. I got no problem with that. And I don't think it's the same thing as luxury. So I really think it's a wholly negative thing. And I also think that our society prizes it. And this is because the people who live the luxurious lifestyles kind of control. Like, I have this news app on my phone, and it just comes with the Apple Store, and it, for some reason, always pushes fashion stuff to me. It drives me nuts. It's just celebrities like just like spewing their gluttony. I can't stand it. I'm like, why have to look at this fashion stuff? I'm just trying to get the news. Anyways, I see it as nothing but bad because it just displays to all of us plebes about what we don't have and what we should aspire to. I don't know. I can't stand it. Luxury is horrible.
Okay, we're gonna give Crofton a moment to compose himself because he's literally going to
Set him off
explode with
sometime.
laughter. You can't hear it because he's either muted himself or he's being really quiet. But
I
his face
muted
right
myself.
now
I
is.
I'm sorry. I just the idea that Mike's like because we do have an image of him as an old man who can't control technology, and
Why do I have to look at this?
the idea he's got like this phone and it's pumping like entertainment fashion week to his phone.
How do I turn this damn shit off?
God damn it! Why do I keep getting these notifications? That's not even a nice dress. Why can't you put some clothes on?
It's funny because it's true. Because I keep thinking, I'm like, I bet there's a way I could screen this out, but I've never bothered to look. So I'm just like, oh, fashion stuff again. I'm like, look at these rich bastards. Oh,
Sorry,
I'm incompetent.
excuse me. Okay,
That's
I'm trying to
wild.
get it together.
On that note,
So-
Crofton.
Yeah, so just for me, this is when we do this show in general, like we get into these topics where it becomes like looking at the individual versus the collective, and often like we will get into these questions like the one Bo asked about, like what sort of luxuries do we have in our life, or what do we have, like who amongst us recycles, or these types of questions that we do when we're sort of like trying to show our biases and show like where we stand on a particular issue. And it always becomes kind of tricky because like you may like something but know it's kind of bad. Like I like soft drinks, but I know that they're not great for you, right? But like if that topic comes up, I'm struggling with the fact that like I wouldn't want them to go away. I love my Pepsi Max so much, but then on the other hand, I know that they're not good, right? And luxury is just it's one of those topics where I think like that a little bit, because I'm like, and Mike did try to split them apart, but the little luxuries or the time that I indulge in luxury or things that I consider luxury, like I have multiple video game consoles. I only need one. I can only play one at any given time, but a game might come out on one and I want to be able to play that game as well, so I'm going to buy this whole other thing or whatever. So like I like indulging in luxury, like for myself, obviously, but not at the detriment of the entire fucking human race. And that's unfortunately where it stands right now. Like you have this extreme opulence, overindulgence, these brands competing to out luxury each other to be presented as the luxurious brand that lead to tons of disposal, tons of waste. So another thing on this show, when we look at these topics, I often do this exercise where I'm like, if you took this thing away from the world, and it's be hard to take something like luxury away, but if you took it away, is the world a better place, a shittier place, or about the same? And I think that with luxury, honestly, like luxurious items and all of that sort of stuff, yeah, it'd be a more vanilla place. Maybe it wouldn't be quite as nice, but I think there would be a big net positive for the planet and the human race. So because of that, I have to say that luxury is bad. Right, bro.
Good man, Crofton. You luxurious bastard with your multiple consoles.
I'm like, should I play the PlayStation 4 or the Switch? I could play both, one in each hand.
I just imagine you have like 3 screens up and like constant like controllers in each hand. You're like, oh yes, more, more. 1 game, 2 games are not enough. Give me more.
Sometimes I'll see these things about like, and this is awful, where it'll be like fundraising for some hospital, and they'll be like, they get video game consoles for all the hospital rooms, and I'll be like, oh, those are PlayStation 3s, that's last gen, like and I'll be like, oh god, poor hospital kids, they're only getting last gen one console, but so that's my reality, luxury.
Man, what a horrible thing to say.
No, I'm just saying.
Poor hospital kids, suckers that don't have luxury. Well,
I'm
rich,
just saying,
console rich.
It's ridiculous. I'm making myself look like an idiot. That's the whole idea of luxury. It's just like you're like, oh my god, this place is trash. It only has this console, and they can only play one at a time. What sort of dump is this hospital?
It's funny because with the one, because I often feel sort of sorry for people who are stuck in the luxury trap, especially the ones we were talking about who are like, mortgage their house to be able to afford a car and certain nice things to try to look like they're really living that lifestyle. Because often when I see something like a Porsche SUV, and I just feel like, oh, that poor person, they're stupid and easily separated from their money. Like, because it's like they could have had just as good a vehicle. I mean, that's my
unless they can afford it,
bias,
right?
No, they might, but the thing is, you don't know. That's the thing about that signaling. You don't know the person who's crazily indebted but driving around the Porsche because it really means a lot to them to have that thing, and someone who's like, oh yeah, whatever, it was 1% of my last year's income, I don't give a shit. You don't know when you see those two types of people, but both exist for sure.
Side question, actually I'll ask it after I give the stuff. So guys, thank you very much for an excellent show. We want your opinions, listeners. If you have an opinion about luxury, you can write to us at goodbadbull@gmail.com. Do check those, and we do read them on the air. We haven't gotten one in a few weeks. Our bad because we haven't been doing a show, but we've done a show about Outrage. We've done a show about Cyberpunk. I know somebody out there's got something they're burning to say. Send it in! If you're just landing on the show, trying to figure out what we're about, where you can find out more, our home on the internet is at goodbadbull.com. There you can find links to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, on Spotify, or just straight up RSS feed. We have a YouTube channel as well, socials on Twitter and Facebook, shit like that. But mostly just bookmark goodbadbull.com. That's where you want to go for all the stuff related to this. Finally, I want to thank our wonderful and very valued patrons for their financial support of the show. 100% of the proceeds that we earn go to paying for server costs and to eventually...
And my new Rolex watch, baby.
No, not
Thank
at
you
all.
for the moolah.
And to also paying for increased website defense. I want to apologize to anyone who tried to go to our site and search Good Bad Bull and found out it was a place to buy Viagra. The site at one point did get hacked, and they spent the better part of 2 weeks detangling that mess. And
they exploited Bo's browser history.
No. It was an old, out-of-date add-on that was bought by people who purchase such things for a very cheap amount because it's deprecated, not worth much, who then inject bad code. And then it affects sites who don't either remove those out-of-update things. Anyways, long story short, we weren't compromised that bad, but it was a smudge on our site, and we definitely don't want to be sending people anywhere negative. So we are now also paying for defense because apparently people like to hack websites to propagate their bullshit so they don't have to do it from their own computers, and that's a thing. I spent a lot learning about that, and that's a whole topic for a whole show. But F you, hacker people. Leave us alone. We're good people. Go hack someone else if you're going to do that. But just don't hack people and do that shit.
All right, but get on with it.
All that to say, thank you very much for the support, patrons, because not only is it funding our web hosting so that the show, we can breathe easy and have the show be on the net, but we can pay to defend it from evil. All right, finally, if you want to find out more about us and where we are on the web, I'm at Bo Schwartz on Twitter. Crofton, where can our listeners find you?
They can find me living the life of luxury on Twitter at Crofton Sears.
And Michael, if our listeners want to find out more about what you're up to, where can they do that?
I'll be in Milan this season on my mega yacht, playing 4 different gaming consoles at the same time.
Will that include VR?
And I'm not sure. I might hire the pool boy Paolo to play the games for me. I might have something else to do.
Do you have VR and AR on there?
VR and AR? Yes. Both.
Virtual reality and augmented reality consoles.
I have augmented virtual reality.
Oh.
I just
You're
like
living in
how
the
you
past,
would be
bro.
like, I got this super yacht. It's got a zillion rooms. I'm out on the sea outside of Milan. Gonna play Red Dead Redemption 2 on my PS4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh
That's
my
why I
God.
got into the Ponzi scheme business in the first place.
Oh yeah.
All the
All right.
gaming.
Well, anyways, that's all our social media nonsense. That's done. Now, the question I wanted to ask before we start all that, Michael,
But I don't remember after
was
going on
that
the
was that
diatribe
do
about
was that do people who are conspicuous culture people? I mean, you know, we went on a little adventure where we picked some sweet things out of the garbage and made use of them. They were perfectly 100% okay. Like, luxury people have pretty good garbage situation if you're into garbage picking. And I feel like you're the most experienced picker of the garbage among the three of us. You've taught me some of the ways.
I've picked up some stuff on the side of the street. There's nothing wrong with it. You're
But,
diverting
like-
it from a landfill. You
But you want to go to a sweet neighborhood, right? You don't go to the poor neighborhood to pick the garbage. Like, you go to
Well,
the conspicuous cult because they're going to throw, they're like, this is last year's office chair. Let's throw this out and get the 2019 executive office chair. And you're like,
Executive.
ching, we need a new couch. We've had this couch for 6 months. It's time for a new couch. And then you're like, pick it out of the garbage.
You
just throw it
you
out.
go to places like my area, Westboro.
Yeah, it's true. The swanky snot areas. It's funny. The other day I was talking to someone at work and they were saying like, "Oh, you buy a new couch, it only lasts like 4 years." I was like, 4 years? Like, when I was a kid, we had the same couch for like 25 years. Like, I mean, it was looking a little rough at the end, but I mean, it still worked,
You
right?
might have had two. Like, the old one would go in the basement, or the more used one would go in a more less showy
Yeah,
part of the house.
Sure.
Right?
But at 4 years, I was like, man, you buy a new couch every 4 years? God.
Yeah, that seems insane to me even now. Is that?
But that's like the
thing now?
disposable culture, like we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
But wait, what was your question? Was it we need to go garbage picking more?
Well, I mean, like, are there telltale signs? Like, I imagine the conspicuous culture people have the better pickings for the garbage. Crofton, your camera disappeared. I don't know if you're aware.
yeah, I don't know.
Crofton might just be gone. Seems like
Maybe
just gone.
maybe he's gone. He's got something better to do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
He just left.
I've never. He's like, I'm done with this. This is boring.
This isn't luxury talk. This is garbage picking talk. I'm out.
I mean, I was pointing out that like actual swanky neighborhood. I've never gone there to look for garbage at the rich people's. I sort of assume they have people come in and take it away in like private trucks. They don't want
I
people to
guess
see their
so.
garbage.
I guess so.
I mean,
If you were
it's probably not true.
if you were that like conspicuous culture about these things, then you would be like, yeah. Oh, Crofton leaving screwed up our video big time.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
there
all
he's
messed
back.
up.
Yeah. It's about time. Jeez. What happened?
He's still messed up. Look.
Oh, he's frozen completely. That expression on his face looks so earnest, like he's listening.
I know. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more.
All right. Well, I think at
we
this
should have ended
point,
the
it's
show
time,
already.
Yeah, time to end the show. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, end the show. End the show.
thank you.
Bye,
End the
Crofton. End the show. It's over. You missed the outro.
End the show, Bo.
Yeah.
End
All right.
the show.
That's a show.